Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grumman Pilots channel, directly supporting the Grumman Pilots Association. And today our topic is a forced landing. We're looking at a Grumman AA1B that had a 24.5 G hit as part of a forced landing when the engine quit on takeoff, and there weren't a whole lot of options of where to put the airplane. The options were crash into a Pepsi plant, a trailer park, a busy road, or make the impossible turn back to the field, get it into the grass, and put it down where there'd be airplane people to help you. Now again, it was a 24.5 G hit, and as you can see, it pretty much crinkled the airplane pretty well. A couple things to note: the propeller hit and got all kind of bent up. It hit so hard, it actually tore the flange bolts out of the prop flange.
We'd like to ask that you please subscribe, hit the like button, and the notify to stay current with our content. Thank you.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grumman Pilots YouTube channel, directly supporting Grumman Pilots Association. And this morning we have the actual video of a forced landing of an AA1B back in May 15th of 2018. Going to have to warn you, seeing the airplane impact the ground is a little disturbing to some people. But I'm happy to tell you that the pilot of this incident did survive and is surviving today. So we're going to talk a little bit about this video. It was shot from a motor freight company that sits across from the airport, and there's going to be some slides coming up in a minute that we're going to take some details. But we're looking at the actual video. They examine their parking lot, and what happens is right after this Pepsi truck goes by Bob Meyer Road, we're going to see the airplane coming into view. It'll be right along the center axis of the view, right over that hilltop, coming in, and that's it. Impacting the ground right there over the two parked trucks in the corner. Now this is an overview of the airport. West is to the left, east to the right, north. It's runway 29, and we're looking at the localized area. Now this is a close-up, and that blue line you see is the sight line from the camera, which will kind of help you look at the next part, which is slow speed and zoomed in. As I watched that, at least I saw that the airplane came down under control. No erratic moves of the control surfaces. Airplane obviously in control, but had nowhere to go. And as you watch this video here, it will continue for another minute or so, but they had to legally cut the video they could release off once the first responders make it to the airplane, which happened about a minute and 12 seconds after impact. They're not allowed to film the first responders showing up and doing their job for liability issues. Now, once you have the place full of first responders and everybody, then you can show all the video you want because nobody's actually doing everything. Everybody's just on the scene. But that's a legal issue that I would have never considered. And it wasn't until just a few days ago when I was contacted by a videographer investigator from Arizona who wants to make a video of this incident, and he has a program called What You Haven't Seen. It's a channel on YouTube where he does investigations of transportation accidents. I had no idea this video existed, and when I told Luann about it, she told me yes, the video did exist, but the FAA wouldn't release it, and he sent me a copy of it. So here it is. Again, as I'm assuming you're seeing, it's not very pleasant to watch, but it's nice to know that the pilot did make it. And then I have a little bit here. I'd like to thank you for watching Grumman Pilots YouTube channel, and especially this video. It means a lot to me. Have a good day flying your Grumman, and we're going to close with a photo of the wreckage in the hangar, and we have an entire video of that called Forced Landing, so watch it on YouTube. It delineates the damage to the aircraft. Again, thanks for watching, and have a really great day flying your Grumman. And as you can see, it didn't do the rest of the airplane that much good either. Our landing gear are 20 G landing face saver fiberglass gear legs. And as you can see, this one is shattered and completely sheared off. Not pretty, but completely delaminated. It even tore off the wing from this side. Now, the hole that's in the side of the fuselage is where the fire department cut the pilot out of the rig to put him into a helicopter and get him to the ICU. And then we have a few other pieces that did not fare very well. There's a custom spinner here, as you can see. The cowling, the wing. About the only pieces that are good are the vertical stabilizer, the rudder cap, and the right side horizontal stabilizer and elevator. Okay, and as you can see on this side, the wing is all bent up, the fuselage is all bent up. The pilot hit his head on the windshield bow 3 times, shattered the windshield. None of that's worth anything. The motor mount is completely torn up. Now, all the pieces that have been taken off the airplane, these are all from the FAA. As part of their examination back in May from the accident, they completely tore all the pieces off to make sure the fuel was fuel, the fuel pump worked, the carburetor worked. The carburetor had just been overhauled. It had a new exhaust system on it. And they had the engine out here. They've drained all the oil out of it. Matt is pointing out the prop flange where all the bolts have been pulled out. No smoking gun has been found on the why this quit on takeoff. I can tell you that it's not something that you want to do. And as you can see, the fuselage pretty well tore away from the impact. Again, 24.5 G's. So a 200-pound person would have weighed 4,900 pounds during the impact. And the wing that tore off doesn't look much better. So all these are registration marks from the FAA determining what was straight, what wasn't straight. And believe it or not, the ELT did go off, as you would expect. So that's what happens with a forced landing gone wrong. And you do the best you can, and you put it down. Okay, now we're looking in the panel, and you can see that the panel suffered quite a hit. A lot of the instruments broke and pulled out. There's not much padding in a 2-seat when you land hard. It completely breaks away, and you take the hard hit, which explains the damage to the spine and stuff like that. A 4-seater would give you a little bit more padding because you're on brackets that might have bent in a landing this hard. But this is what the inside looks like. And here's a little bit more looking at the fuselage. So definitely not recommended. Okay.
All right, we are recording.
Okay, so now we're coming to part 2. We've talked about the forced landing. We've talked about how strong our Grummins are. The honeycomb, as you can see, is hardly distorted. The sheet metal tore in the fuselage on the empennage. We broke the 20G landing gear. That's how we know it was more than a 20G hit. It still had enough energy to tear the wing off and do damage to the panel. But now let's talk about what it does to you, the pilot, taking a hit like that. Not every case is going to be the same, but I'll go through my injuries for you very quickly. I broke 10 ribs. Now, they've all healed since then. I broke my pelvis. It was fused. I tore T12 in my back, and it was all braced. Got a heck of a scar down the middle of my back from all the work they did. I've got a few other little nicks and things. Nothing south of my belly button works. So I'm in a wheelchair right now until the nerves grow back, should they ever do that. But I was a very lucky pilot. I landed right by the fuel farm where there was a fuel guy who was showing the fire department the procedures they use for loading fuel, how they handle spills and leakages. He used to be an EMT until a week before. So he came over to the aircraft, put his hands on me and told me to stay calm. The fire department was going to cut me out in just a second. The fire department cut me out, removed me onto a stretcher. The captain got on the radio and called Air Care, which is on this field. And they brought the chopper to the fuel farm and landed right near my stretcher, pushed me in, and within 12 minutes of me hitting the ground, I was in the ICU in downtown Cincinnati. That instituted a lot of what saved my life. Now, I don't recommend doing a forced landing, but as you'll talk to the FAA, and they will tell you, forced landing is a bunch of choices. Landing in the Pepsi plant probably would have been fatal. Landing in the trailer park, I'd have hit a couple of trailers. Some poor boy could have been eating breakfast. I could have killed him. The road, power lines, power poles too close. Choosing the grass was the best of all the options I had available. Now, things that will happen to you. I don't remember the entire day of the wreck. I don't remember starting the airplane. I don't remember flying it. I don't remember going to ICU. As a matter of fact, for the next 8 weeks, I was in and out of consciousness for very small periods, and I woke up with various different personalities every day. Matter of fact, one of my customers came to see me. He was raised in Germany. He's an American citizen. He spoke German as a small boy, and that particular day, I was speaking the German that I used to speak to my father before I was 6, and our family changed over to English. So, I was in the hospital for 8 weeks before I gained consciousness. Luckily, I came back as me. I passed all my cognitive tests. I went into life rehab, learning how to handle a wheelchair, how to do port transfers in and out of vehicles in the bed. I've still got work to do. This is an ongoing thing. I'd also like to thank you GPA members and Grumman Gang members. Thank you for your phone calls and the letters you sent. I'm only sorry that I missed Ken passing when he passed away on Memorial Day on the 27th. I didn't find about it out until July. So, we thought we would cover the forced landing, show you the airplane, show you what you can expect for you. And again, I don't recommend this. Don't do this. Keep your airplane in good mechanical shape and have a great day flying your Grumman. Thanks for watching.